This is more of a serious video. I'm going to be more informative than I am personable. But I'm back in the gym because I'm fat in all the videos. This place was like my second home upon making the move to this town from Atlanta. The plan with returning here from the city was to quickly establish normalcy with the primary focus geared toward physical health. I would work out 2 to 3 times a day, run, play basketball because I can actually hoop. Now, this documentary style visual content on my life is focused on music production and building the brand of the savoring, but congruently I have to cover the tribulations of when the zapping and electronic voicing popped off until the present day, and not only how it complicated my daily physical training routine after moving over to West Georgia, but endangered my life. As mentioned in the last vid, these few humans doing this were still going extra crazy and super duper reckless with this external remote voice and doing zaps, the word zap being the coined term heard in the audio recordings, which can be defined as hit my ass with a damn directed energy weapon. Now, after watching these episodes, viewing, listening, and understanding what's really going on out here, you know it's real and this ain't a game. Let's hear a few clips of just how loud and crazy this electronic voicing sounded from a single workout session in the gym at midnight, alone before I play the rest of them later in this video. All these clips were from August the 1st, 2023. In these clips, in these clips that are coming up, you're gonna hear it a lot here. But in most of the recorded clips that I feel, they say they FUCKED. I don't even know who the hell they talking about, man. I have no idea, man. And it's become evident that just the person that's doing this they really have developed a mental illness, but from spending so much time doing this, and trying to prevent me from speaking out about this, but. This is so sad, man. So to start with these zaps, when I was in that gym, they tore my ass up with whatever they used to zap civilians with. When I was living in the last place of residence in Atlanta, they were only zapping my head and the back of my neck. In the gym, they were not only zapping those areas of my anatomy, they began zapping places like my shoulders, spine, and odd areas like my tibia. Like right there while on the leg press, causing pops on my body where no joints are. While reviewing the audio recording of this day, I heard this clip of me speaking after they zapped my neck. I could tell I was zapped in the neck by the words I spoke when dropping the weights and also what the electronic voicing was speaking after zapping me. So obviously that wasn't the music. This would happen as soon as I walked in this gym to work out. Everything spoken was directed at me. And after about 10 minutes, this group surveilling me would zap or pop me mainly in my head and the back of my neck and hard. Talking about some stop working out, go home, we will zap you, and listen to them. Followed by actually playing someone having sex in there, even while minors and kids old enough to recognize that it's someone having sex were present. So they were playing an audio clip, several minutes of this same person having sex in that gym. These people didn't know what was going down, and it was very loud. It's like they just wanted to keep me at my house. Also, they were popping the top of my head while running wind sprints in the fields down the street from the gym. So I told y'all they can zap inanimate objects and played the sound in episode 3. So the back of the gym has a wall layer of corrugated metal on everything. They were popping the hell out of that wall, and nobody was even over there. The zaps to the wall were very weird and unnatural sounding. Someone that may be unfamiliar with how this sound is, had this happen to them, would think this is completely bogus, but it's 100% factual. Yeah, those weren't any plates hitting. That wasn't a machine. That was the back of the wall being popped. I'm not even playing with you. I know I'm not lying anyway. Anybody that knows me knows I ain't crazy like that. Now, this remote electronic voicing by humans not present in the gym was extremely loud. As mentioned in the last episode, these people's crazy ass were going completely mental in Atlanta and continued when I moved. It was the same wherever I was. in this town, including at this gym. So these few doing this had complete disregard for all those other people in there whenever people were present there. All of this would go on immediately upon walking in the gym. And based on the verbiage, these people didn't want me in there in the first place. It's really like this small group of people just wanted me to stay home just to destroy my mind with constant electronic voicing and zapping me in my sleep. So that's what was going on anyway. But it was also happening in public. Now, you're certainly going to hear voicing in all of these clips. It's incredibly foul. No one would ever say this in a gym. It's easily identifiable if the listener wears AIRPODs. In some audio clips containing voicing, it comes through so clear it would seem impossible that no one else was present at the gym. But again, this filled set was recorded when no other gym goer was there because it was after midnight at a 24-hour gym. People that know any of these songs can differentiate the voicing and phrases from the lyrics. I want to state that I'm not thinking this or blacking out and just hiccuping profane words in the gym. So there aren't any parts in the audio with me speaking. Okay, stop right here. So I ain't gonna say all I want to really say about this little situation and about what they did in this neighborhood. Be talking all day about it, but they certainly attempted to recruit, run around here. I don't know these people. So relative to what they said, upon moving to this town, this group of people immediately began playing the sounds of this same person having sexual intercourse in my home and in several houses, if not all, in this neighborhood. And it is certain that playing sounds of someone having sex in my home and other houses in this community was part of a hopeful recruitment process. I guess they were hoping nobody would say something, but mind you, it's over 200 homes in this neighborhood, and a number of them house parents with one or more children. I would hear this like every night and day for at least a year and a half. It's still even this year, 2025. You could hear it outside. It's like they try to take over using sex in folks' homes. These people are tripping. And I'll detail this more in later episodes. I really want to roast these people, but this is way too severe to do that right now. This ain't even the time to do that right now, man. Listen to how bad these people sound right here, how pitiful it is, and what lengths they would go to keep me suppressed. Like, it's so pitiful, man. These people have been watching me for a minute, man. No one else was in there. I put that on God, man. None of that was me. So I don't want to say and reveal everything I would like to right now in terms of technical depth and the identity of these people. And I don't expect the general public to understand how this is happening and readily accept that it's people with this type of technology. But anyone that knows anything about this knows that this is undoubtedly one of the worst and startling cases, yet one of the most easily detectable and reckless, operated by some of the most careless humans alive, man. I could be wrong, but it sounds like some older people with some people 30 or younger hooked up with some foreign people and just mimicking a bunch of folks. Sometimes I hear these foreign accents that sound both Oriental and someone sounding Australian or British UK or something in them. I don't know if it's a voice mask or actually people of that nationality, but it's still sloppy. Based on what was said early on, I could tell they didn't really know what they were doing when they started using this. They sounded very inexperienced and juvenile, and it seemed like they were using me almost to train at improving with getting better with this, relying heavily on using names and aliases of people. But I think they were also kind of frightened because I chose to take this on and not just allow it to happen to me. Documenting these occurrences. As mentioned in the previous episodes, the strategy of this developed into an objective of using this electronic voicing as a tool to learn, predict, and speak the same words simultaneously that I say both in public, while on the phone, and in my house, which sounds crazy yet true on everything. But in the act of doing so over these years since the onset of this, they've committed like 1,000 crimes, dude, in their relentlessness. They started doing this to me, and I wasn't even out here whistleblowing about these occurrences or protesting in the middle of a four-way with a megaphone. Imagine one day you just wake up and begin hearing people speaking through your house and in public, zapping your head and saying the names of people you've never known or come into acquaintance with, and essentially being linked and leached for information. This has been the most life-threatening 3 years of my life for both my family and I. Not only do these people say manipulative things, lie, and mimic other people, they also will say, "Go smoke," repeatedly throughout the day through voicing that has been recorded. I know that people have their personal habits, but this is much worse of a nefarious influence when someone is saying "go smoke" through the house and around you with remote electronic voicing. The worst thing about this is they've been telling me to go smoke every day since the beginning of 2022. Yeah, so I quit going to the gym because they were killing me in there during the time that I went in August and September of 2023. They were just zapping my body too much. Doing this electronic voicing and playing people having sex even while kids were present in the gym. And I mean kids that were like old enough to hear it and process it as that. I was getting lasered, and some of the worst days were experienced while attending this gym since the beginning of these occurrences. I'm going to end this episode with some capture footage of the walk home from the gym to my house. It's like half a mile away. So on this day, it was about like 12:30. It was like after midnight when I made this walk home. So no cars or people were like close to me. I just cut on the recorder. And it's you could still hear these people speaking just while making the walk home, man. It's that bad, but let's give it a listen. Until next time, pay attention.